I want to respond to this video by Stephen Fry.
Suppose what Oscar believed in as he died, in spite of your protestations, suppose it's all true, and you walk up to the pearly gates and you are confronted by God. What will Stephen Fry say to him, her, or it?
I will basically, that is the Odyssey, I think. I'll say, bone cancer in children? What's that about? How dare you? How dare you create a world in which there is such misery that is not our fault? It's not right. It's utterly, utterly evil. Why should I respect a capricious, mean-minded, stupid God who creates a world which is so full of injustice and pain? That's what I would say.
And you think you're going to get in on that?
But I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to get in on his terms. They're wrong. Now, if I died and it was Pluto, Hades, and if it was the 12 Greek gods, then I would have more truck with it, because the Greeks they didn't pretend not to be human in their appetites and in their capriciousness and in their unreasonableness. They didn't present themselves as being all-seeing, all-wise, all-kind, all-beneficent. Because the God who created this universe, if it was created by God, is quite clearly a maniac, utter maniac, totally selfish. We have to spend our life on our knees thanking him? What kind of God would do that? Yes, the world is very splendid, but it also has in it insects, whose whole life cycle is to burrow into the eyes of children and make them blind. They eat outwards from the eyes. Why? Why did you do that to us? You could easily have made a creation in which that didn't exist. It is simply not acceptable. So, atheism is not just about not believing there's a God, but on the assumption that there is one. What kind of God is he? It's perfectly apparent that he is monstrous, utterly monstrous, and deserves no respect whatsoever.
And I want to start off with the point about the parasite. Now, that parasite doesn't really exist. As far as I can tell, it's something that's like stitched together from different kind of insects. Like there was this wasp that ate from the inside out, but that doesn't have anything to do with humans. And then there was David Attenborough, who because of some kind of a river blindness thing, which isn't an insect either, it's a worm in Africa that goes into people from the rivers, I suppose. But it doesn't usually go in the eye, so it doesn't have ocular problems. So Stephen Fry, like, he brought these two little facts together and made some kind of an insect that doesn't exist, and he's using that to accuse God. Anyway, that's not what I really want to talk about. I want to talk about why do parasites exist? Why does a parasite exist? And the reason parasites exist is, I'm giving a lot of good faith to Stephen Fry. He just made up a thing that he's accusing God with, okay? Sorry for yelling. But he's making this point that, like, why are there these parasites out there if God is so good and nice, And the answer is, okay, are you ready for it? The reason is so that Great Britain can exist. Because this is a parasite of nations. I saw this picture of a famine in India where millions of people died while the British were siphoning food from the country into themselves, like parasites. And social Darwinism was one of the reasons they gave, to justify it. It's not our place to interfere with what is naturally occurring. There is this famine, this drought, while they are sucking the food from that land to themselves. You understand? Great Britain would not exist if God put an end to parasites, if he did not allow for the concept of a parasite. And you know how life finds a way, right? Life finds a way. If God doesn't put an end to it, life does not find a way like parasites, then Great Britain cannot exist. So this is the good faith argument that Stephen Fry didn't make. I just made, and I answered it. So that Great Britain can exist. So that Stephen Fry could exist. So we would have the lovely double-decker bus, the red bus, the Big Ben. None of these things would exist. We wouldn't even be speaking the same language. English. Right? So there are good things. Those good things only came about because parasites exist. Parasites of nations included. I don't know if I should respond to the first point about bone cancer in children. I guess the simplest answer is the reason God allows it to exist is the same reason that mothers and fathers create life, bring children into life, even though there's a chance that things will go wrong for them. It's worth it. Life is greater than death. Stephen Fry is arguing from the superiority of death when he makes arguments like that. And that's incorrect. You have to be alive to make those arguments. One final nail in the coffin for Stephen Fry is he praised the Greek gods for their human appetites. The only reason sex exists is so that children can come about into this world that has bone cancer. So if he enjoys sex, he should acknowledge that these human appetites only exist for life to happen. And he should learn to pray, because he's a very likable fellow and he's out there telling horrible things about God. And there are children who have bone cancer, right? And children are the kind who believe. They believe in Santa. So if those children who are dying start to believe that there is a God who hates them, and they die like that, then there is a great judgment waiting for Stephen Fry, because it was the Messiah who said, whoever causes one of these little ones to stumble, it would be preferable that a millstone was hung around their neck and they be thrown in the sea.